Hello, folks. I need to make a rant because I'm not happy with MTA Chairman Pat Foye. Okay? So I am very discouraged by this as a New York City resident because it seems Pat Foye wants to kill off my leisure needs when society gets back to normal. Okay? Because I'm not happy right now. I'm going to link in the description below this article from Time Out New York. And I want to thank one of my fellow contributors, Andy from NYC, for making this aware. And I discussed what my protocol is going to be if that does happen. And I'm sorry if a certain demographic is not going to be happy if my presence is seen down there. But, too bad. I deserve a lot of happiness considering I've been locked in this house for 2 months. But, let's get into this. So, it's reservations, right? The MTA is looking into a reservation-only system for New York City subways and the buses. Alright, so thankfully I can read this on my PS4. New Yorkers know there's going to be a lot of changes when it comes to eating out, shopping at stores, and going to the gym. But what about the once-packed subway systems of our daily commutes? Well, it looks like the days of overcrowding trains and platforms may be a thing of the past. Currently, New York City's Metropolitan Transportation Authority, short for the MTA, is considering all options to reduce density. For starters, the MTA is already testing a social distance marker. So, they're at a couple stations right now. They were set up at the Lexington Avenue 53rd Street station, which is the first station in Manhattan, last station in Manhattan scenario if you take the E and the M train going to and from Queens. And then you have the 51st Street station on Lexington Avenue 6th line. So, I'm fine with that. I like to see it at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike when I'm even allowed out of the house after this long nightmare is over. Do apologize. I don't know what happened. I just hit the R2 button. I don't know what happened. Alright, the MTA is also considering amping up surveillance systems in subway cars, stations, and buses to further control crowds, said MTA Chairman Pat Foye during an interview on 1010 Wins. Pat Foye said, I do apologize, I'll just mute the sound because this can't connect to the internet. Odd. Okay. The man from Port Washington says, we got cameras on almost every station, said Chairman Foye. They can be used to determine passengers on a platform. Passengers in mezzanine will be looking at that, and they'll be looking at ways to control the number of passengers. So I don't really know what is that supposed to mean. Alright, and I'll get more into this afterwards. Foye suggests, and I quote, in the future you could even be asked to reserve a spot on a bus or train ahead of time in order to reduce crowd density and mandate safe distance. Pat Foye said it on the Wall Street Journal podcast earlier this week. I think agencies around the world have done things like metering. I think there ought to be consideration of reserving a spot at least for some period of time. So, Pat Foye, yesterday morning on 1010 Win said, we'll be looking at everything. Everything's on the table. Foye said staggered work hours and work from home options could reduce ridership volume. Starting, I don't think telework and remote working will be a part of New York going forward. Alright? So, you mean to tell me that if elective surgeries start to happen again, I can't do the mail work for cancer registry? Or, let's say we get to stage 3 or stage 4 where leisure... Right, it's stage 4 in New York, right, where leisure activities are allowed and my nursing home could allow resident transport. You mean to tell me that I'm going to have to make a reservation just to get onto the bus for work? I mean, I know I'm not essential right now, but still. I don't know what time I'm leaving my house. I don't know what time I would need to get on the Q88 and then take the Q76. Same with me. If that happened, if I was coming from Northwell and New Hyde Park. You know what I'd have to do? I'd have to just get on the 46 to and from. That'd be it. I couldn't even transfer another bus. Osdom is a very complicated situation. The only other direct option I could have would be taking the Q31 on Utopia Parkway and then walking from Francis Lewis. And I don't want to deal with that big traffic light. The only time I have to deal with that big traffic light is if I'm going to the deli. If I need to go to Dunkin' Donuts, that's it. You know? Ridiculous. How is the MTA supposed to figure out my non-essential work schedule? And I'll get to the leisure aspect of everything when we even get to stage 4. That's what I'm mad about. Crazy. You're not even thinking about people like me. By next week, the MTA will also have distributed a total of 1.9 million masks. Okay? So, over 4 million pairs of gloves. So there you have it. That's what the article says. And, I just don't understand how is this going to work. Right? How is this going to work? All right? What if I want to go to Bryant Park? What if I want to go to Central Park? What if I want to go to Carl Schurz? All right? I have to make a reservation just because I want to go to the park when non-essential travel is allowed? That's another thing. It's like they want to censor me from going to 2 Broadway. All right? Because I need the E-train. How am I supposed to get to the World Trade Center? How am I supposed to get to Church and Vesey Street and then walk? If the R and the W has a problem. Right? Because again, I have to transfer for a downtown R or W train to get to Whitehall Street. Everybody knows that about me. Alright? Understand that, folks. So, I'm very mad about this. Alright? They're basically going to kill the fun if we even get to stage 4 of the COVID-19 economic recovery. Alright? Because that's when I think I can do things for myself. Like go to the park at least. I don't know if that would be like maybe phase 3 or something. I think that's when the dine-in restaurants can take in people, which that's another aspect. Because what if I just want to go into the city for lunch? What if I want to go to Amadeus on 8th Avenue? What if I want to go to my Wendy's I like on Lexington and 45th Street? Right, just 2 examples. I don't understand that. Right? They're basically, or especially, let's say, if I want to go to 8th Avenue, and let's say I want to go back to Christie's. I haven't been to Christie's in a while. Or Food Emporium. Trust me, supermarkets here in Queens are not good. Like, the only one I would go to would be Stop and Shop in College Point, which I haven't even been there in a while. But still, they want to kill my fun. They want to kill my leisure time. Right? Because I'm going to need a lot of it after being the stay-at-home order. Right? I'm going to be by myself. What's there of harming other people? On a normal weekday, I'm by myself. No one bothers me on a weekday. No one does. I always tell my friends, you want to see me do it on the weekend. And I come out to them in Long Island. I'm sorry for getting angry there, but, I know the people who've died. I know the people who have to go to work in this tough time. I understand that. But try looking at from a point of view when someone hasn't left the house in 2 months. All right, I'm grateful that my dad's still getting groceries during this time. And we still get the delivery from Peapod, which I got to be up late at night just to get that stuff. But this is what I'm going to say if this goes through. And if we get to phase 4 or phase 3 and I'm allowed out. Right? And I don't care if I'm making my dad go out of the way, just let me get the N25, okay? This is only when we start to get back to normal. If this plan does happen, I will only be taking New York City buses. Alright? That excludes Interborough Express buses. For example, the QM5 and the QM7. Alright? Now we're on the same page here. Good. The following routes I will be taking to make reservations, if this plan goes through, are the following. If I need it, will be 5. Q30, Q31. And I'll get into that in a second. Q46. Maybe the Q88, depending on how things end up. And the Q76. Now let's get into the 2 reasons why I presented earlier. The Q46, the Q88, and the Q76 I need for work in Queens. Especially if I'm going to Osnum, and I need the 88 to get me over to Francis Lewis, and I need to take the Q76. If I'm even if I'm allowed back at work. Which I'm hoping it's sometime in the summer. Okay. 2. Let's get into number 2. Why did I bring up the Q30, Q31? And I spoke with this to Andy Quito earlier today. If this plan happens, because thankfully they have not discussed this on commuter rail, which commuter rail could be easier to do this plan. If this happens, all of my leisure activities will be done in Nassau County. And the further east I will go, if I'm not desperate, Massapequa Park. Alright? That's how far I go. That's Zone Fare 7 on the railroad. But, how would I get to Limbrook? Or Great Neck? Well, I have to take Nice. Because thankfully, the N25 off-peak in the morning doesn't get crowded. So I hope Nice Bus isn't even going to look into this. I really hope not. Because that's the last thing I need is to make a reservation and then get double-crossed in the morning trying to leave from Long Island Jewish and then get the N25 to go either north or south. Because I would be going south. Why would I have a need to go into Great Neck? Right? I mean, sure, Great Neck has a couple decent places I can go to, or, you know, just like how I could always deal with going to the parks. You know, I mean, if I need to go to Alley Pond, I can take the 46. And I can take my hike, and then, worst comes to worst, you know, I could always go to Gino's. I have the bagel place on Springfield Boulevard I can go to. They have pastrami, actually, for like $10, $12. But I'm not taking the subway if they make me do a reservation. I refuse. See, the buses are easier. Because if you do a schedule on the bus, okay? You do a schedule on the bus. I know I could tell the MTA, look, I plan to leave Long Island Jewish at either 138 or 150 to go westbound, to go home. Just like how, if I'm correct, I think when I went to Long Island Jewish, I think it was, I forget what time the limited bus was in the morning, but I can make that reservation, boom. If I need eastbound limited bus service, I could do that. The only issue is, if I'm going to Osnum in the morning, and my dad can't take me, I'm out of luck. Because the Q31 is local. So that would be my preferred choice if I had to tell the MTA, look, I much feel comfortable walking to Utopia Parkway and then walking up Francis Lewis to get to Osnum. Or the fact of the matter that, I can just, deal with the two transfers, which I think, I don't even know how that would work. What if I have to transfer onto a bus? Pat Foye better not do this. Right? Because this is going to be a nightmare if he does that. Alright? I will be very angry if he does that. I'm already angry thinking about it. Right? And just like how this is trying to censor me from going into 2 Broadway. That's the plan, folks. That's what they want us to do. They're basically going to say, we'll keep doing the virtual teleconferencing. Yeah, well, that's when Phase 4 comes online. I think Pat Foye is trying to double-cross us once Phase 4 comes in. He may be trying to do that. And especially how I think he's doing this on purpose. So that way, even if transit workers want to go in and complain to Pat Foye, yes, I'm talking about Jamel Thompson for an example, or any other transit worker who complains to Pat Foye during board meetings, they're trying to censor them too. They're basically telling them, you have to make a reservation just to get to the Bowling Green station or go to Whitehall Street, because those are the 2 closest stations that are right by 2 Broadway. Can't make this stuff up. Just cannot make this stuff up, folks. So I'm gonna get going. I'm very angry, and trust me, I'm not gonna be acting like this when I speak to Chairman Foye on Monday. I'm just gonna tell him logically, I'm just gonna tell him, bottom line, this is not gonna work. You are not telling people to make a reservation to go on the bus or the subways. Especially if, let's say, another good reason, and I want to give Matt Camper for presenting this, what if the Long Island Railroad or Metro North is down and the subway is the only way to get around in city terminal areas? Think about that. So, that's what Pat Foye wants. He wants to make your life a living hell, and he even did that before this pandemic, so trust me. Andrew J. Pollock still has beef with Patrick J. Foye. So keep that in mind. Alright? Okay. We're good here. Thank you all for watching. And stay safe out there, please. And wear the face mask. Take care, everyone.